Welcome to another week of Family Life with Mama Rita. It's been an emotional week for me, very, very emotional week for me. And I promise you we're going to do Ask Mama Rita today. Unfortunately, we'll be doing something else. We will continue with Ask Mama Rita next week. If I didn't answer your question or we didn't answer your questions last week, don't worry. We will still do it next week, next 2 weeks until we are done. As long as Jesus hasn't come yet, we will answer every question. Today, I want to honor one hero of the soul, a son of Ghana and a son of Royal House Chapel. On Saturday, the 1st of March, we had a burial service for this great man, and I want to honor his memory today. On the 6th of October 2021, I had Dr. Emmanuel Asante here at the Power Line Studio. We spoke on sexual issues in marriage. And I want to go back to the 6th of October 2021 to play my time with Dr. Asante here on Family Life. Dr. Asante, I honor you. Dr. Asante, you're a great man. Dr. Asante, the medical fraternity of Ghana will really miss you. Dr. Emmanuel Asante was the head of the urology department, UGMC, that is University of Ghana Medical Center. I am sorry if I'm reminding the wife, I'm reminding the son, and I'm reminding old maids from University of Ghana Medical School and Akora, all students of Achimota, if I'm reminding you of your pain. But this is what I also want to do to honor this great man. Dr. Asante, from the studios of Power Line, Family Life, we want to say we honor you. Whilst in heaven, now you have become a celestial being. Now you have become an angel. I pray that there in heaven, you keep watch over your wife, Dr. Carol, your son, Jeffrey, Apostle General, and myself, and all members of the medical team, Royal House Chapel. Thank you for all the things you did. Thank you for the patients you took care of. Thank you for all the outreach programs, the ones we went to Gambaga, Hope Reasons, everywhere we went to, that you offered your services free of charge. Thank you, and God bless you. We love you, and your memory still stays on. They've been to several hospitals, several doctors, and he's been on medication. Some of the medications are not working, and some are working. Unfortunately, the one that is working, anytime he takes it, he gets severe headaches that last the whole day. He goes to work and he can't just work. So for a person like that, what happens? Is it the medication? Is there something he needs to do? Does the medication has to be changed? What is it?
So unfortunately, most of the medications that we give to treat erectile dysfunction, most of them cause headaches and nasal congestion. But usually, as you continue to take it, you feel better. Your body gets used to it, the symptoms subside. If you take one and you get it and you stop, then you wait for a long time and you take another one, you will not be able to get over it. Usually with time, your body gets used to it and you're able to.
Oh, okay.
But there are other remedies that we can try apart from the medications that we give. So he needs to talk to his doctor again and then we'll try and see.
So it means that I'll be bringing a lot of people to you because I'm handling a lot of these issues. Some time ago, the cases were people in their 60s and 50s, but these days even 30s, and they are having issues. A young lady came to see me a month ago. I mean, very young lady. She should be maybe late 30s. She's been married for 9 years. And 9 years, they've never performed.
So we need to see the couple, talk to both of them, and then try to find out the cause of the man's problem.
Okay.
Then we can help the problem.
Oh, okay.
And for this issue, it's good to talk to both partners. But sometimes when it happens, the woman worsen the stress.
Okay.
And that will worsen the erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
So usually we like to talk to both of them, counsel both of them, and then usually, most of the time, we're able to find a solution to that problem.
Wow. Wow. We are dealing with sexual dysfunction in males. We've been handling sex in marriage, and sometimes the quarrels and the arguments and all the issues pertaining to marriages most often, most often, come from the bedroom. When the woman is not satisfied or the woman is not satisfied, it brings in a lot of quarrels, a lot of arguments, a lot of fights. So we'll be handling sex in marriage. And last week we handled painful sex. Some of the ladies don't want to have sex, not because they don't want to have sex, but sex is so painful. So last week we dealt with painful sex. And then today we are dealing with male dysfunction. A lot of people go through sexual problems. I mean, today I've heard so many erectile dysfunctioning, premature ejaculation, no sperm at all, and all that. Let your questions flow. Any question, I can see the women asking more of the questions than the men, but whoever you are, bring your questions. Dr. Asante is with us in the studio today to answer our questions. So to my co-hosts.
Yes, Mommy.
I love your shirt.
Thank you. This is coming from Elmat P.
Wow.
Elmat P. Elmat P, thank you so much. You can get Elmat P across all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can also call them on 0542-834-232, 0542-834-232, and they will supply across everywhere in the globe you find yourself. Well, keep your questions coming through. +2 33200 515253. We are live on Facebook, Rita Korankye-Ankrah, on Facebook, Mama Rita K, on Twitter, we are also live. We are on YouTube, Powerline TV, and your favorite digital channel as well. So please get in touch with your questions. We have our abled and experienced doctors here with Mama Rita. And Mommy, social media is loving your outfit as well.
Wow.
I think Ariza Couture is doing something.
She's doing so well. I love my dress. I love it. When I looked at myself in the mirror this evening, oh my God, I should be standing for you to see the full dress. Ooh.
Wow. Well, we'll go straight to our questions from viewers. And this is an interesting one, straight to the point. It says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for hosting this program. I've been following for the past few weeks, and you are really repairing marriages. I have a question, however. My husband hardly does romance whenever he wants sex. He just gets on me and inserts for the act. Unfortunately, however, most often, without exaggeration, it doesn't last up to a minute. Now, I don't feel like having sex with him anymore. Please, I have been complaining, but he hardly seems to care. I have caught him a few times masturbating. I don't know if this is a result or this is the cause. Please, what would your doctors advise?
Dr. Vanessa, welcome back. I know we lost you. We thank God you are back. You heard all the discussions. I hope you heard the question.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are going to you, yeah.
The thing I wanted to start off with is that having difficulty having sex is so common, and actually 1 in 10 men we report that have difficulty with sex in some way. And so it's so good that we're doing the show today, because I'm sure that there are many couples that are affected. And the lady's question is something that I see, and the situation is that I see a lot. So one thing I will start off with is that understanding from both sides, because one of the reasons why he probably doesn't want to do the romance, do the foreplay, etc., is because he himself knows that it's difficult for him to last. So sometimes they want to experience and have orgasm, but they just want to do it quickly and not think about it, because it affects their confidence as well. It's not, it's as a man, to know that you can't allow that your partner to enjoy sex as well, and it happens so quickly, can really affect their confidence. So that's number one. I say that because it affects you both. I know she said that she's spoken to him, but sometimes I suggest with couples, actions are sometimes easier than words. So we talked about foreplay last time. But about sometimes women don't always feel confident about initiating foreplay. But I think sometimes in these situations, the foreplay helps both of you, because you both lost confidence. You're both not enjoying sex, so you don't want to do it. So I encourage couples to sometimes say, okay, we're not going to have sex for like 2 weeks, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to, like I said last week, explore each other, enjoy each other's bodies, and without the pressure of sex, because sometimes having the pressure of sex can be really hard for both of you. So I encourage that. I also say that, you know, and I'm sure Dr. Asante will talk about it as well, that there are things that can be done to help with either premature ejaculation, or if he's unable to maintain an erection, that there are medications that can be given. Sometimes it can be medications that you're on that are causing the problem, but because he hasn't gone to the doctor or gone to speak to anyone about it, he wouldn't know. So I would also encourage her to ask him to go and speak to someone about it, just to find out if there are things causing it, and also if there are things that can be given to help as well. So it's just really important, because it can go both ways. And lastly, the thing about, she's commented that she's seen him masturbate, and I think that, again, I see this in couples a lot, where if one person isn't enjoying it or not confident in it, the guy still wants to release, and so he will masturbate. And I say to couples, it can be disheartening, but don't focus on that. Focus on trying to understand why he's unable to maintain the erection and premature ejaculation, so that you can go back to enjoying each other. Because sometimes couples get so frustrated with each other that they can't even go back to have sex with each other. So it's about communicating, in trying to enjoy each other, but please go and encourage him to speak to a doctor to find out what the causes are.
Dr. Asante, would you want to add to it?
So I agree with what Dr. Vanessa said. The thing about masturbation in men is that usually they do it, they hide and do it. They want to come quickly. So when they are having sex, their body learns to come quickly. So when they meet their partner, before they know it, they've come already, because they've been doing it, and their body has learned to come quickly. So the brain is so powerful that as soon as you initiate any sex act, it knows that you want to come quickly, and then they come quickly. So like Dr. Vanessa said, they need to seek help. They need to talk to a doctor who will find out what the problem is, and then solve their problem for them. It can be treated, it can be solved.
Dr. Vanessa, Dr. Asante said something, and I've really taken notice of it. He said that sometimes the women add to the issue and add to the problem. The man is getting premature ejaculation, and sometimes the way the women handle it make it worse. So now the men are not even confident enough to start in the first place, because they know that once they start, I mean, within minutes it will be over. So I think that by what Dr. Asante said, the women would also have to be patient enough with the men. I mean, discuss it, talk about it freely. Like you're saying, sometimes you even need to go off sex for 2 weeks and say for 2 weeks we are not having sex. All we are doing is that we are having foreplay, we are exploring our body. And I believe that with time it will work. So I think that you would also have to advise the women what they must do in such circumstances.
Definitely, because you know we are all human beings, and we all have our egos and confidence, and it is really easy to lose your confidence. And so if you're being intimate with your partner and you know that you are not satisfying them, you suddenly get, you inside, you feel bad about it, and then your partner, she gets frustrated, and she is like, either she is also feeling underconfident because she's thinking, okay, why is this happening? Doesn't he like me? Doesn't he find me physically attractive? Is he not enjoying me? So he is underconfident, she is underconfident, and sometimes when we're underconfident, instead of talking about it gently and softly, we become defensive and we speak angrily, we speak with frustration. So that is so important, that we have to take the time to really understand each other and just have tenderness and kindness, and know that in an ideal world, everyone wants to enjoy sex in their marriage. Everyone wants to feel confident. So if it isn't happening, rather than getting angry and defensive, try and step back and just try to understand. And often that kindness and gentle approach can really give the guy confidence, give him confidence to seek help, but also know that he has a partner at home that believes in him and supports him. So it's just encouraging all women to really not only don't get angry, but sit back and listen and support.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Right. Please
We will
keep your
move to our
questions
next question.
coming through, yes. +233-200-515253. My Nigerian brothers and sisters, I haven't heard of you today. Please keep your questions coming in. I trust it's not raining in Nigeria, it's happening in Accra at the moment. So we'll go straight to the second question. This one says, good evening, my evergreen Mama Rita.
Good evening, my darling.
People are giving you vibes.
Yes.
Says, I love you so much.
Thank you.
My question. My husband enjoys every bit of sex we have, but sadly, I don't. I always pretend just to make him happy, because he always wants to know if I've also enjoyed it. She says, I sometimes sleep on my back, my legs crossed with a little pressure in between them. Then I start to feel some wetness and pleasure in my body. I seem to enjoy that a lot. Please, what can be the cause for this, and how do I get solution? Her name, and she's from Kpong. Yes.
Dr. Vanessa, I hope you heard the question.
I did.
Yeah. They used to enjoy sex, all of a sudden she doesn't feel it, doesn't have any feeling for sex and all that.
So, first of all, many women, when it's funny when you listen, because many women, when they are asked, by their partner, did you enjoy that? How was that for you? It was great for me. Many women do as she said, rather than saying, actually, I didn't enjoy it. I think you were a bit too rough. I didn't think you were gentle, or you were too gentle. Most women will say, yes, I enjoyed it, because for many women, we are geared to please the husband.
Yeah.
So if the husband is satisfied, it's like, okay, they are satisfied. But what I always say is that as women, it's important for us to be satisfied. And for men, it's also important for them to know that their partner is being satisfied. So if you're not being satisfied, then I think you don't have to say it aggressively, oh, you know, this wasn't good. No, but you can say, oh, can we try something else? Because I always say to women, if you weren't satisfied, do you know what would satisfy you? Do you know what you would enjoy? And sometimes you can try and speak to your partner to bring that into the relationship. The other thing is that, as Dr. Asante said, our brain is really powerful. So if you've had some times where you haven't enjoyed it, what sometimes happens is that as soon as he comes near you, you remember that, oh, I didn't enjoy it for the last 3 times, so I don't think I'm going to enjoy it now. So then all the things in our bodies that need to happen in terms of, you know, we were talking last week that our heart races, our nipples become erect, we then become wet. All those things don't happen because we are expecting it not to be enjoyable. And our body wants to protect us. So then you're like, okay, no, I don't want this. So another thing is that I always say to women is about talking about it, whether to your partner, whether to your doctor, talking about it to, we have psychologists that help you go through it, to just help you move past it so that you can start to change your mindset about sex and think about trying to enjoy it. But it takes time, and I always say to women, don't put too much pressure on yourself. But once you feel that you're not enjoying it, know that you deserve to enjoy sex. Many women don't feel they need to deserve it. Know that you deserve it, but also your husband will want to please you as well. So do talk to him about it. Try and bring it into the enjoyable bits into the relationship.
Dr. Asante, would you want to add to it?
So I agree with everything Dr. Vanessa has said. The thing is to talk about it, to tell your partner how you feel. And then if you talk about it nicely, both of you will find a solution to the problem, then you enjoy sex more.
So, my darling, don't continue to pretend. Take this one from me. Sex is a gift from God. Just like oxygen, air is a gift from God. Sex is a gift from God. After you are married, you are supposed to enjoy sex. If for any reason you are not enjoying sex, talk about it. Over the few weeks, we've been talking about, you know, sex and why you are not enjoying it and all that. It could be that you are getting too stressed. It could be that you are getting too tired. It could be that you are getting to your menopausal stages. It could mean that you are not getting wet enough. It could mean that the man doesn't prepare you enough. It could mean that there's hurt or bitterness somewhere. He did something to hurt you. Please talk about it. It is your right to enjoy sex. Discuss it. Say, oh no, I didn't enjoy it. And like Dr. Vanessa said, don't be rude about it. Don't be harsh about it. Say it nicely. No, just talk about it. Oh, for some reason, all of a sudden, I'm not enjoying sex. I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe you are not preparing me enough. I don't know, maybe I'm too stressed. I mean, once you talk about it plainly, you realize that, oh, this is not an issue at all. He will help you. And then there are people to help you. Your counselors can help you. Your doctor can help you. A psychologist can help you. Please don't be in it alone and suffer alone. There is help coming your way.
There is help definitely coming your way. And this is one reason why we have Family Life series with Mama Rita on Powerline TV, helping build stable and happy homes. And we would also appreciate if you can add a little more detail to some of your questions. Example, your ages would help the doctors be able to prefer some counsel that will be very relevant to you. We have our
before we go on, Dr. Asante, where are you? So that in case somebody wants to come and look for you, which hospital are you currently?
So I'm based at the University of Ghana Medical Center at Legon, near Noguchi.
Okay. So Dr. Asante is based at
University of Ghana
University of Ghana Medical Center in Legon, close to Noguchi.
Adjacent to Noguchi Memorial.
Oh, adjacent to. So the two are different.
The two are different.
You know, I always thought.
No,
Oh, okay. So University of Ghana Medical Center, opposite or adjacent to
Noguchi.
Noguchi at Legon. So if you are looking for Dr. Asante, if you also call the officers of Royal House Chapel, you can be directed to Dr. Asante. Please don't suffer alone. There is help.
There is help. This one says, good evening, Mom.
Good evening.
I used to last 30 to 40 minutes after first session. First service be that.
Wow.
Because of my stressful nature at work, I'm not able to last half that long. Can your doctors help me how I can restore my manpower? Ernest.
Hey, Dr. Asante, Ernest says he could go 30 minutes non-stop
30, 40.
for the first service.
So the thing about...
Can you imagine what will happen during the WNG service?
The thing about erection is that as you grow older, it takes longer for you to get erections. So the erections are not as firm as before. So what he didn't tell us was when he was having these erections. Like he also said, stress can also add to the problem. And you may not be getting strong erections like before. But whatever it is, talk to your doctors or come and talk to us. We'll find out what the problem is and we'll be able to help you.
Dr. Vanessa, would you want to add to it?
No, it's completely as Dr. Asante said, is that it depends how old he is and when he was enjoying it and was able to last longer. But the stress is such a common thing that is affecting many people. And in COVID, in this pandemic, when people are suffering even more, many people, that is impacting their sex life as well. So it is really important to go and seek your doctors, go and speak to Dr. Asante and just go and talk through it, because there are definite things that can help. And even talking so that you can find out how you can be supported to reduce the stress. That can also change things significantly.
Okay. And before we move to the next question, Dr. Asante, is there a possibility that for some people, medication doesn't work at all with erectile dysfunction? Is there a possibility?
So there are several things that we can do to solve erectile dysfunction problem. Medications are just one of them.
Okay.
We can give you injections. We can give you suppositories that you can put in the penis. We can even replace the muscle in the penis. We can even replace the muscle in your penis. Some cannot have an erection because there's a problem with the muscle in the penis. We can put an implant in that will help you. So there are several things that we can do. Yes.
Oh my God, my darling. Yes, there are several things. I couldn't wait to ask this question because of the kind of issues the cases I've been handling. So it's not just medication. There are so many things, medication and suppository they put in the penis.
Pumps. Pumps, vacuum pumps that we can
pumps. They can also
do surgery. So
do surgery, the veins. Oh, wow.
There are several things that we can do.
Hey, the people I'm going to bring to you. So, my patients, if you are listening to me, please, the gurus are here that will do the job. So, if we've tried prayer, we've tried deliverance, we've tried medications, and they are not helping, I hear medication is just, I don't know, 100 of it. There are so many ways that erectile dysfunctioning can be handled. So I think I would be doing referral here for my clinic. I'll be doing referral.
First aid consultation.
First aid consultation to Dr. Asante. We've gone to the altar enough. I think now we need to make a real move. I'm so happy you did come.
Awesome. This question says, Mama Rita, thank you for your educative lessons. Once I satisfy my wife in bed, She puts pressure on me to hurry up and ejaculate because she wants to sleep, which means you do it always at night, my guy. Then he continues. I often fail to ejaculate as quickly as she wants because of the pressure she puts on me, and that eventually gets her angry. It makes everything weird. What can I do about this?
Dr. Vanessa.
So I would say, first of all, to talk about it, because, you know, sometimes people don't realize the language that they use, the behavior that they do, how it impacts someone. So she may not realize it because she may feel that, oh, for men, you want to ejaculate. So even if I'm telling you to do it quickly, you're doing it. So you must be enjoying it. So first of all, letting her know that actually you don't enjoy it and it's affecting you. And also trying to explain that if she continues to do that, then it could affect the sex life in the longer term as well, because there will come a time that he won't want to have sex at all because it's too much pressure. So that's number one. Number two, to try and find out from her why she wants to have it so quickly. So because yes, there's tiredness, but you know, most of us women, we're always tired. There's always things that we're doing. But and there are some times where we're definitely, no, we don't want to do anything. But there are times when we're tired, but we can be encouraged to do stuff. And it's about also finding out with each other, you know, from her, what will make her just relax a bit? What can you do to just calm her, to say, okay, let's just enjoy it. Let's last a bit longer. Because it may be that he is not, before sex, he's not doing anything to actually ease her day. You know, it can be a simple thing like, I don't know, you know, taking the plates to the kitchen rather than her doing it. You know, something small can make a woman feel that she hasn't had such a hard day. So the thought of having sex doesn't feel as like an added burden. Because for some women, it feels like that because you're tired and you're thinking, I haven't got time. But so that's another thing I say is try and speak to her to find out, you know, what is driving it? Why does she want it so quickly? And the last thing is that what we were talking about last week is that sometimes some women want to do it quickly because sex is painful.
Okay.
And they don't want to, you know, admit it, or they haven't talked to anyone about it. But actually, the act is painful. So do ask and say, you know, are you in pain? Is that the reason why you don't want us to do it for longer? Because sometimes if women aren't asked, they won't say anything. They'll just get on with it. So that's another thing as well.
Okay. Dr. Asante.
Yes, I think Dr. Vanessa has said it all. Maybe that she's not enjoying the sex act, so she just wants you to hurry up and finish so that she's free. So we need to talk to the wife, find out what the problem is, and then solve the problem. Then they can have a better sex life.
So men, you need to talk to your wives about sex. Don't assume. For all you know, she's not enjoying it. For all you know, you are not preparing her enough. Because I've seen women who had sex, they said they didn't want to have it because they were tired. And for some reason, that became their best days. So maybe you are not preparing her enough. Maybe she's not enjoying it. Maybe sex is too painful for her. And so this is why communication is very, very important when it comes to the role of sex in marriage. Talk about it. Don't just finish it and then that is all. The next time you want to have it, then you say, I want to have it. No. After each sex, even if you can't talk about it because it's late in the night or something, the following day, have a chat. How was it? Did you enjoy it? Why were you so much in a hurry for me to, you know, finish it? Were you in any way in pain or something? It's very, very important to talk about sex.
Very vital communication in marriage. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening.
And good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening.
Please, my name is Nana from Kumasi. I have just observed this from my husband. Of late, when we are about to have sex, we could have romance for so long and he will be hard throughout the romance period. But as soon as he tries inserting his penis, he becomes soft. And the insertion itself doesn't even happen again. I also eventually get very dry, and that doesn't make any good for us. What could be the problem and how do we solve this? Please help us.
Dr. Asante.
So he may be having an episode of erectile dysfunction.
Erectile
There are
dysfunction.
several things that may affect you during sex. Is it that the man is drinking too much before the sexual act?
Okay.
Is it that he has an underlying condition that we are not aware of? So we need to talk to them to try and find out exactly what the problem is. Then we can solve the problem for them.
So, Doc, in this case, she's saying if they are having foreplay,
the man has an
the
erection.
man can have an erection. Even if it's 30 minutes, it can run for 30 minutes. But as soon as it's time for penetrative sex, it drops down
So
south.
it may be psychological, maybe something about the act that worries the man, maybe some nervousness. We need to talk to them to find out exactly what the problem is to be able to solve the problem for them.
Maybe the woman also nags too much.
Maybe
so
the
the fear of
yeah.
would I be able to perform? Would I do it well?
Usually what happens is that if they find an episode of erectile dysfunction, the next time they're about to perform, they are scared about not being able to perform again. And the thoughts alone will affect the penis getting erect to have the erection, to have the sexual act.
So, Doc, it means that a woman has a big role to play.
A very big role,
Okay.
like Dr. Vanessa said.
Okay.
If I'm trying to have sex with you and I'm not getting an erection, and you are angry about it, it affects my ego.
Okay.
The next time I'll be worried about that incident.
Okay.
And that alone will affect me
Okay.
having an erection
Okay.
again. So
Okay.
they have a big role to play.
Okay.
Yes.
So it means that if the man is having erectile dysfunction, you need to be cool.
You need to be cool. You need to talk about
relax,
it.
talk about
They
it.
need to find out what the problem
what
is
the
together.
problem is.
And then you need to see your doctors together.
Okay.
Then they will counsel both of you to know
and
exactly what.
let him know that you are in it together. You are not going to use it against him. Everything is fine.
Because if you nag or you're angry, you only worsen his condition.
Okay. Dr. Vanessa, before Dr. Vanessa comes in, I hope the women are listening. Sometimes we are also a cause to the men having issues with sex. Sometimes we nag, we complain, how come everything is okay, you are hard enough, and then when it is time to penetrate, then all of a sudden you go off. You know, sometimes psychologically, when it's just ready for them to penetrate, you know, Kofi can't work again. Dr. Vanessa.
No, Mama, I think you've just said it all there, because when we were talking last week about vaginismus, and we were saying encouraging the men to be supportive to the women and to not to get frustrated and to work together. It's the same thing here.
Good.
You know, relationships are a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Sex is a two-way thing, and everyone needs confidence. Everyone wants to feel that they are pleasing their partner. And so if one isn't pleasing their partner, it affects them. So know that the same way that it would affect you will affect your partner. So then just have kindness and gentleness as you approach it. It is understandable to get frustrated. No one is, because we wouldn't be human. But it's just that in relationships, just take a step back and think, you know, we want to be together. Let's try and work together so that we can enjoy this together.
Dr. Vanessa, I think sometimes, for lack of knowledge, you know, we perish. Sometimes the women think that, oh, once it comes to foreplay and the man is hard enough, and then it comes to penetration and he goes soft, maybe I'm not loved enough, maybe I am smelling, maybe he feels I'm too fat, maybe he thinks that now I'm getting ugly, you know, so I think it's a two-way. Women who don't know, I know women, a lot of women who have come to me and think that maybe the man doesn't love me again. That is why he's not having, you know, penetration. Maybe I'm not beautiful enough. Maybe now I have a protruding stomach. Or maybe he's even seen somebody else. I know, I've heard a lot of women say, oh, I think, mommy, he's seen somebody else. So I think that both ways, they both need to talk.
Yeah. No, because exactly, because it is so easy to bring another cause as to why.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about the smelling actually comes up a lot in some of the couples' work, because sometimes the woman will say, I think there must be something wrong with me physically. There must be something there. But then, and in when we do the couples therapy, when you speak to the guy and she says it in front of him, he'll be like, what are you talking about? It's nothing to do with you like that. It's because of X, Y, Z. So they only would know that if they would communicate and talk about it. So don't assume, because when you assume, you get defensive. If you think another woman is involved, rather than being kind, you're going to be angry. So as soon as you talk about it with him, you will be abrupt. So yes, just recognize, don't jump to conclusions, talk to each other so you can truly understand what is at play.
Okay.
All right. We have a question coming from Sunyane, Middle Belt of Ghana. His name is Eric. He says, good evening, Mama Rita, Pastor Emmanuel, and your panel of doctors.
Good evening.
He says, thank you so much for your educative program. May the Lord bless you.
Amen.
My question, however, is, I enjoy watching pornographic videos with my wife, and it usually spices our lovemaking.
Hey.
However, we feel very uneasy about it. Is it a sin to watch pornography as a couple?
Would you want to go into it, or you think this one is for pastors?
This one is for pastors.
Dr. Vanessa, would you want to go into it?
Mommy, I'm going to hand over to you.
Okay. No, I wanted you to talk about the psychological aspect of watching pornographic. It's come up, I think, either last week or last 2 weeks. The psychological effect of watching pornographic films, and then I'll come with the spiritual.
Okay. Okay. So I think, first of all, with pornography, so pornography is there showing a sexual act, showing people doing things to each other. And it's external. So you're watching it on TV, you're watching on a tablet, etc. Now, what I always say to couples about this is that a lot of the times it's what it does to your mind when you are continually watching pornography. There'll be some people that, watch it once, they're curious, they want to see what it is, they've heard it, they want to know. There are some couples that, again, want to see it once because they're thinking, oh, is there anything we can learn? What is it all about? But I say, when it becomes something that is, you have to watch it, you must watch it, you can't imagine sex without it. The psychological aspect is that, number one, it can affect your image of sex and what you expect of sex, number one. And often it is unrealistic expectations of what sex is. So you think that, oh, someone is lasting 45 minutes. You think that everyone looks sexy. You think that everyone always enjoys sex all the time. Your expectations can be are unrealistic. That's number one. Number two is that with it there, it can also be intrusive to you, because it can be something that you fully concentrate on. And I see people that have porn addictions. So an addiction is when you feel you can't do anything else. All you do is think about that. And so I always, when people ask me about it, I always say that's the other thing to be aware of, that you have to know Is it something that you're doing as a one-off, or is it something that you feel you must do? And all of these things, it's really important to speak to someone about it, because otherwise it can consume you. It can affect everything that you do. And it not only can affect your relationship, it can affect your work, it can affect everything that you do in life, it can affect your relationship with God, because that person said, you know, that thing of guilt and shame comes with many people when they think about sex. So I always encourage people that it is something that can become really burdensome and intrusive in your life. So it's important to talk about it, to know so that it doesn't intrude and take over your life. So that's what I would say about it.
Dr. Asante, would you
so
want
I think
to
Dr. Vanessa has said it all. It gives people unrealistic expectations of sex. And apart from the fact that you can also become addicted and it can really affect your life. So that's the psychological effect that it can have.
People ask me all the time, is watching pornographic films a sin? Is masturbation a sin? For me, anything you do that afterwards makes you feel guilty, makes you feel that you are not worth it, makes you feel dirty, is sinful. So they have spoken about the psychological effect of watching pornographic films. And I think Uncle Ebo White also spoke about it. You can go back to YouTube and then you can watch when Uncle Ebo White came on the show. Number one, you could be hooked to it. Number two, unrealistic expectations. You think that somebody watched an hour, so let me also go an hour. What you don't know is that this one is staged with cameras.
Probably filmed over 4 days or 5 days.
Filmed over, you know, something that happened within 5 minutes.
Sometimes they're on drugs for it.
Or sometimes they're on drugs for it. We know a lot of people who do these things that are on drugs. So they have the energy, they have the strength to go on and on and on. And for me, you do not know the spirit behind it. And anything we watch, that is why I have a problem with the things I watch. I have a problem with the things I listen to. People think that, oh yes, the words are okay. But do you know the spirit behind the song you are listening to? If you are not sure about it, please don't go into it. So this is the little I will say. For me, I think that if you are not careful, you get hooked to it. And pornographic films have destroyed a lot of marriages and a lot of sex lives, because sometimes they can't just perform without watching it. And the expectations of the people, somebody went 45 minutes, so let me also go 45 minutes. Meanwhile, the person has strength for just 15 minutes. And for all you know, Dr. Asante is saying that sometimes they are on drugs. Would you be able to go on drugs to be able to perform 1 hour and to be able to perform 2 hours like they do? So you are asking me, is it sinful? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And Colossians 3 verse 5 and Ephesians 5 verse 3 both talk about putting away to death whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity to the body, lust, evil desires, and greed. Ephesians also talks about the same thing, but among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality or of any kind of impurity. So that is the biblical point, and we trust that the Lord will help you with this. We'll take a couple of complimentary messages and then we'll go to the next question. This one says, I'm watching live and I'm enjoying you from Abidjan.
Wow.
Another says, Powerline TV is my best Ghana TV.
Ah.
This one says, tell Daddy I really love the potom poto dance.
I see. Potom poto dance.
You are not enjoying the potom poto dance. Nanakos, we wish you well. All right. We'll go straight to the next question. Says, is it strange, doctors, that a woman 13 years in marriage will never have reached orgasm. For all these years in marriage, I don't know what this is. What could be the cause?
Wow. Dr. Vanessa, she's been married for 13 years. She doesn't even know what orgasm is. She's never reached orgasm.
So the first thing to say is that this is actually quite common.
Yeah.
And I think for many women as well, for many people, but for many women specifically, as I said earlier, often when we're growing up, talking about sex and what sex is and how we should enjoy it, often no one really tells us. You know, growing up, I didn't have a show like this. You know, no one tells you. All you hear about is what you may see on a TV program. Yeah. Your friends may drop words into a conversation, but often when we talk about sex, we don't talk about it. Often we didn't hear about it from adults in a positive way. It was, okay, what you do in marriage to have a baby. And so many people, when they talk about sex, they feel some shame, some, you know, discomfort talking about it. Also, some women, you know, may have had negative experiences growing up, whether they were experiencing some abuse, whether they had a interaction with a guy that he tried to force himself, so there was no consent there. So there are many different reasons why a lot of women, first of all, don't know that they should be enjoying sex, and then also for you to think about getting an orgasm, for you to experience. For some women, you know, they have sex, that's it, they have an orgasm. But for many women, that's not the case. And part of it is that you have to also get to know your body. Your partner needs to get to know your body to find out what allows you to orgasm. Because for men, you have your erection, you then ejaculate, and that can be that way. But for women, as we said, you have to feel in the mood often, you then have to, all these other changes happen, and then you have to have the orgasm. Now, sometimes for some couples, he will ejaculate, he will orgasm, but you're still there waiting, and but he has already come, so he hasn't got the energy to support you in the next bit. So then what happens is that the woman just lies there because she hasn't had the orgasm. He is too tired, and she hasn't even told him that she hasn't had an orgasm, so he doesn't even know. So then that goes on and on and on, and then it can go on for years, as in this lady is saying, for 13 years. So the key thing is that you have to break that cycle. And to break that cycle, you have to talk about it. You don't have to, you know, say to him, oh, you haven't made me enjoy myself for 13 years. No, what you can say is that I've noticed lately that I'm not having an orgasm as I would like to. And then talk about it. Again, foreplay. As you do foreplay, you will realize what makes you get really excited. And sometimes adding that in before and during sex can also support you to have an orgasm as well. Because for many women, just penetration alone will not give the orgasm. So, but you have to know what you enjoy for you to get the orgasm. So again, it's talking about it to break the cycle, again, doing some foreplay, and then also if you, if that doesn't work, you can go and talk to your doctor as well, because there are some things that may be happening, you may be on some medication, etc., that could be affecting
Dr. Vanessa. Dr. Vanessa.
Yes, Mommy.
I know it's very easy in the UK to go and see a doctor and say, doctor, I've been married for 13 years, or I've been married for 2 years, and I've never had orgasm. But in Ghana, you have 200 and 500 patients
with malaria
and typhoid and blood pressure and sugar, diabetes.
Even the stress you go through to pick your card.
To go through the queue, go for your card and then
Just
go
go and say you want
and
orgasm.
sit in front of the doctor and say, doctor, I have never had orgasm.
Me home saneme.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, he's needed in the emergency ward.
Dr. Vanessa.
Very, very true. But you know, also in the UK, there are very few women that often have the confidence to go and talk about it as well. But the thing I say is to find the right person to speak to.
Okay.
So, example is the doctor that was on last week.
Okay, Dr. Carol.
There are specialists that you can go to because
Okay.
you're right. You can't go to every doctor to talk about it. And also, you know, I'm sure Dr. Asante will agree. Many doctors, many of his colleagues wouldn't feel comfortable talking about sex with their patients.
Yeah.
You know, cardiologists want to focus on the heart. Respiratory doctors want to focus on the lungs.
Okay.
They don't want to focus about sex. So that's why there are doctors like myself, Dr. Asante, that we're here to talk about it. So the key thing is to find the right type of doctor. And as you said, Mummy, you know, people can contact Dr. Asante. If he's not the right person to speak to, he can signpost to the right person.
Okay.
But if we don't talk about it, nothing changes as well. So that's the thing.
So for the and Dr. Asante, would you want to come in before?
So the good thing about programs like this is that it enlightens people to know that there is help out there. So once you reach out to any of the doctors, though, if they can't handle your problem, they will direct you to somebody who can. Then you can get help, yes.
Okay. So you heard it. That is one thing about family life. What we can do is, if you get in touch with us, we can always hook you up to any of our doctors whose area is in sex and can handle your sex life. But I want to say that it is very, very normal for you to get married for 11 years and never have orgasm. And this is why we've been teaching on family life. That you see, for some women, they will never have natural orgasm. Some women will never, ever have natural orgasm. It doesn't matter what the man does. So that is why we spoke about other things. Uncle Ebo spoke about it, and other...
And Mommy, not to cut you, there's a question from Equatorial Guinea, which supports what you just mentioned. It says, I am watching from Equatorial Guinea.
Okay.
I have never had orgasm by penetrative sex. However, I always orgasm during foreplay.
Good. Yeah. So I always say that orgasm is orgasm. You can either have orgasm during penetration or have orgasm during foreplay, or what item top up. You had sex, penetration, the man had ejaculation, everything was fine with him, and the woman is left wanting. I believe that the man would have to do what I call top up. And top up can be using your fingers, top up can be using your lips, top up can be using... Make sure that at every time you have sex, when you have had the word again?
Orgasm.
Orgasm, the woman also has orgasm. And like I said, some women may never have natural orgasm in their lives. So what you do is try other things. Try other things. Maybe during foreplay, she might have the orgasm. Or afterwards, when you are done, you could either use your hands, your fingers, make sure they are well washed, or you can use your lips. In that case, the woman would also have to have her bath or clean herself well and make sure that she's very, very fresh before sex. I remember, Dr. Asante, when I got married. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
sorry,
Dr. Van. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because the top up that you said is so important.
Yeah.
Because people sometimes don't realize that, you know, with our vagina, something like this here, the clitoris, where we will get our orgasm, the clitoris is at the top, is at the hood there. So sometimes That's why the top up can help with the mouth or the fingers.
Yeah.
But also sometimes when you change position,
okay,
sometimes you change position and then it's easier for the clitoris to be rubbed.
Okay.
And then that can also help with orgasms, because sometimes for 13 years people do it, they have sex in the same position.
way.
And so that's why often it can't. So it's doing the top up and doing different positions can really make a difference.
So Dr. Vanessa has said what I was going to conclude with it. You need to change position. If you are trying the missionary style all the time and the missionary style is not working for you, try other things. Please get Uncle Ebo Wise book, Let's Talk About Sex. Let's talk about sex. All these things are in. So you've tried the penetration and you've never had orgasm. Try something else. I was going to say something. You know, when I got married, 2 years among my friends and then my peers, I was the first to get married. And in those days, there was nothing like counseling before, premarital counseling. We never went through anything like that. So we just went into it. And, you know, people just assume you must not know everything about sex. Whereas my husband didn't know. He was coming from the typical scripture union, and he entered into scripture union when he was in Form 1. So he's been Crife all through. And I joined scripture union in Zion Secondary School. And, you know, people just assume, when I was in St. Mary's, people would just look at me. I remember we're studying reproduction. And somebody can just look at you and say, oh, Rita. As for Rita, she knows everything about reproduction. I mean, and we also wanted people to feel that we knew. So we have arrived. Meanwhile, they didn't know we were even virgins. So here was I. I went into marriage very green. I didn't know anything about sex. I thought sex was just to make the man happy and for the man to enjoy and for you to have babies. So I had it. I never enjoyed. I never complained. Nothing. I even had my firstborn and everything was fine. I mean, my husband and I, we never spoke about sex and it was normal. Then, within the group, Showers of Blessing, 2 years after I got married, then one of my friends got married, Patricia. And I always say thank you to her. Patricia, if you are listening to me, thank you so much and God bless you. So Patricia gets married and decides to come and spend some holidays with us. I mean, we've been friends for a long time. So she decides to come and spend some holidays with us. So Patricia came. And she was married fresh, I think after about 6 months of marriage. Then Patricia said, hey, I didn't know this was sex. And Patricia was talking about orgasm. I said, Patricia, you are sinning.
Hey. you are defiling the atmosphere.
I said, Patricia, you are sinning. Stop talking about this. She said, no. And you know, she was coming from the Baptist background. And with the Baptist background, they used to do proper premarital counseling. So she was taught about orgasm and sex. She was taught about styles and everything. So I said, I've never had orgasm before. She said, you mean it? I said, yes. So she said, 2 years, you've never? I said, no. Then she said, you know what? When you go, do this, do that, do this. Oh my God. Oh my God. For the first time, I woke up. I said, Patricia, it happened. And you know, between us, we used to talk about everything. I said, Patricia, thank you. For the first time it happened. She said, I'm surprised. And you know, in those days, Scripture Union, we were not allowed to talk about sex. You felt it was even sinful. So, my darling, this is what family life is all about. Ask all your questions pertaining to sex. If there are some questions we haven't answered, next week we are going to do Ask Mama Rita, and we are going to answer all your questions we haven't answered. Let the questions continue to flow, and then we will answer them. I don't know how many more minutes.
Yeah, we can take some 2 or 3 more quick questions. First, some compliment is coming from Sierra Leone. Says, thank you very much, Powerline TV. I am enjoying this program.
Thank you.
We also have Nicholas Jenekai from Liberia. Says, hi, Mama Rita.
Hi.
I've been watching you for some time now. May God bless you and keep doing your good work.
Thank you. I will keep doing the good work.
So we'll go to this question, quite an interesting one.
Wow.
Says, Mama Rita, I am back again.
Hey!
Well, we don't know when you came the first time, but welcome back.
Welcome back, my darling.
Says, after satisfying my wife in bed, when it gets to her turn to satisfy me, she becomes afraid of my penis.
Hey!
Complaining that my penis is too big. Then when I manage to insert,
Again, yes, that's exactly it, is that the vagina is one of the stretchiest muscles in the body, and finally one straight after the other, so it stretches. But I will say there are very, very, very few due after, like, as a result of having an operation. Most women, as Dr. Asante said, the key thing is being lubricated, so that it's easier for the penis to go in, and for the muscles smaller, and then smaller, and then for him, he is worried. He gets his erection, but he's thinking, if I get too big, she won't want me. So it can be really difficult both ways. She won't want me. So it can be really difficult both ways. But again, making sure you're well lubricated, making sure that, foreplay helps, exploring each other helps, so that the muscles helps, exploring each other helps, so that the muscles can relax to accommodate the penis, whatever size it is.
But he said,
the penis, whatever size it is.
But he said, I don't know how they do it. I don't know whether through foreplay. But he said, after the woman has come, then I think she gets so satisfied, she doesn't want to please the man. Now a second round, you get man. Now a second round, you get it to reach orgasm.
That is also really common, because we don't talk about it. So she is there, all her. First of all, let me take it. So she is there, all her. First of all, let me take a step back to remember that sex is a lot of energy. So, and then she wants to sleep, but then he has to go and help him enjoy himself to sleep, but then he has to go and help him enjoy himself. So sometimes I say to couples, okay, first of all, you need to tell her that that's an issue, and then you need to change your game. You need to change, because often couples, you tend to do the same thing again, and that is it. But actually, what needs to happen is you need to flip it and say, okay, let's start with something on me, so that I can, for the guy, so I can start to get excited earlier. So that when I'm enjoying you, you can then help me, and then it's not just the same way.
Maybe we can take the last question.
Well, I would rather take some comments, because the questions are loaded.
Wow.
For instance, someone says, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm really enjoying this show. But mommy, some of us are in the villages, and we don't even know what orgasm even means. So I'm sure we'll address this next week. And then
my God.
There is a
maybe
comment.
they can answer a bit.
Well, there's another comment I would also want to address. This is a concerned parent who says, very educative program, but I wish the time will be shifted as we have some of our kids here doing their homework. We've dealt with several topics on this program. I want to believe you are new to Powerline TV. We've dealt with dealing with teenagers, adolescents, raising children, communication in marriage before you say I do, etc., etc. So this is just one episode of many things we have been dealing with. It's a total family program. So sex is the current episode we are on. And prior to the program, and actually on every episode, we have made mention of the fact that parental guidance is advised for this particular episode. So if you have kids around, who advise during this particular episode, get them some hotspots, get them some workbooks, let them do something to get busy, and then after this episode, we can continue watching together as a unit, depending on the topic that comes after this. Thank you. And then a final comment here says, good evening, I am Isaac from Asankragwa in the Western region.
Wow.
I actually think...
That's Wasa, that's where my mom comes from.
Oh, okay. I think most women...
Mom comes from.
Oh, okay. I think most women have, when they have changes...
Hasn't heard the word orgasm before. Hasn't heard the word orgasm before. Dr. Asante says orgasm is just penetrating, going into the woman. Never ever had orgasm. Dr. Vanessa, did I say it well?
That's exactly it. It's right at the top. And so if you haven't had that excitement, pleasure at that peak, then it's likely that you haven't experienced an orgasm yet. Yeah.
Oh, I hate to end this. I'm enjoying it myself. Dr. Vanessa and Dr. Asante, thank you so much. Dr. Asante, I know how busy you are. Almost every time you're in the theater, anytime I call you, you're either in the theater or getting ready to enter into the theater, or you are just coming. So for you to make time for us this evening means so much to me. Thank you so much. People from Nigeria, people from Sierra Leone, individuals and certain marriages today. Dr. Vanessa, thank you so much. This is your third time on Family Life with Mama Rita, and I can't thank you enough. God bless you, and enjoy your sex lives. Just like you are helping people in their marriages, may your marriages be solid.
Amen.
May you enjoy your marriage. You also want to get married.
Amen.
God bless you, and have a good night. And for everyone, Powerline Studio, I say thank you, God bless you, and have a good night. God bless you, and I love you. Thank you for being with me on Powerline TV today, Family Life with Mama Rita. Like I said, if you joined us late, I promised we were going to do Ask Mama Rita, but I changed my mind after Saturday. A son of the soul, a great hero. He fought, he conquered. Here in Royal House Chapel and outside Royal House Chapel, we took him round to our outreach programs where we did free medical consultations, we did free surgeries. We went to Gambaga, we were in Kofodia prisons, Ho prisons, we went to Ankafo. I mean, there are so many places we went to with Dr. Emmanuel Asante. And today I thought that we needed to honor his memory. So thank you for being with us. Unfortunately, Dr. Asante is no longer with us, but his memory will still be with us. Dr. Kweku, please say hello to my parents for me. Say hello to my mom, say hello to my dad. On the 2nd of March, Sunday, the 2nd of March was my dad's birthday. He would have been 94 years old. Dada and Mama, whilst in heaven, keep watching over us. Please pray for us in heaven. And I believe that we will win every battle and every prayer of ours will be answered. Kweku, bye-bye. God bless you. Sleep well.